we'll see how this one all plays out. It is match point, like you said, for GameLab here.
It's going to be very important for Geek fam to win this game just to extend it into a 7-game series. So if you're supporting GameLab, make sure to chat it down below, especially if you're watching at Twitch. Because all you got to do is to just say the team who you're supporting in chat and watching Twitch TV, and then you get a chance to win 20 USD worth of Play Store and Apple purchases. All you gotta do is wait for your name to pop off in the Top Clans Facebook page, and probably you gotta message the Top Clans and tell them, hey, I won that, and get your prize. Going back to this pick and ban phase, of course, it's gonna be Geek Fam ID with the Fanny and the Benedetta ban. A lot of mobility already out, and GameLab will be taking away the Hilda of Baloyski special, by the way. I do feel like this is a Baloyski ban, and the glue.
I wonder if one of these teams is risky enough to just ban out like Valentina. You know, just take it out of the picture, you know? Like, but then I feel like if that was the case.
Your team is banning.
Alright.
Okay, so I'll follow that up with, if they ban out the Valentina, they're tired of seeing it, you know, at this point, getting all their ultimates copied. You know, what does this leave for your mid? You have the Xavier picks, you have the Farsa.
Kaja too.
Kaja is available. You actually still have a lot, and there it is. It should be locked in here. But yeah, this leaves me to wonder what Geek Fam wants to take in the mid lane.
Yep, and this leaves me to wonder if we're gonna see anything soon. So far, these have been the only heroes we've been watching for this entire grand finals, and not that I'm complaining, but it's actually what's most effective for these teams. And similar to what we saw in game number 5 rather, we did see Yuk TZ, that 1-1, and Havost on this Fredrin, so I feel like they're really comfortable playing these two. But this time, no Valentina available for Aizawa, and the Farsa is locked in. We might be able to see a Squid Game here. And Farsa, it's return of, I think, a meta from a year ago, dude. Literally.
Yeah, this is like
1 year ago, this was the meta.
1 year ago. Squid Game and the Land of Dawn, basically, you know? And it still works, right? It still works, but I would say that Farsa Kaja combo obviously is pretty deadly. And then you have, of course, Amon thrown into that whole mix, and it is going to be trouble here for GameLab, but they know how to deal with it. Like I said, both these teams have pretty much read each other at this point. That's why also the pick and bans do go by so quickly. I think the biggest thing for GameLab specifically is what do they want to take in the jungle against that Amon pick. Leomord still on the table here. They could go for something else if they want to. I mean, even in terms of Takanaga, I mean, Ling is still there. We saw them play in the earlier part of the series, but a lot again, and also Hilda was taken out, right? So we'll see what they want to go with. That last Geek Fam ban could be targeted towards the jungle as well, trying to narrow down some of the options here for Takanaga.
And Takanaga has been crucial in a lot of the victories coming in from GameLab. The way that he plays these assassins really garnered the respect of everyone in the tournament, given that the Fanny is almost instant banned for GameLab. Every time you're up against him, you just kind of take away the Fanny. Takanaga definitely one of the best Fannies here in Top Clans. And now GameLab, they do have the chance to secure their jungler right now, or their roamer, where we're not still sure, but most likely, you know what? Fredrin could be a roamer, but we did not see it at least once in Top Clans. It has always been in the XP lane, and now they're going to secure this Lolita. They're going to save their jungle pickup for the last one.
Well, if it's Dokman locking in either of these, this is something that we've seen him do a lot of, whether that be the Ruby or the Lolita. So he's going to actually lock in the Ruby. And the only thing about Dokman is sometimes he's a little too trigger happy, and this can be like for Ruby, that can be for Kaja. And so if they want to close out this series, it would be really important for Dokman to pick the right times to initiate. You know, sometimes it is kind of like playing a game of, you know, how much risk and how much reward do you get here. So Ruby will allow you to I guess this game will be better for the Ruby pick because you have that Eve as well, if they can get trapped into that real world manipulation. So, and like we mentioned, Leomord probably a good choice here for Takanaga against that Amon pick. So not too much difference here, very slight, but both pretty solid choices for both teams heading into the next game for game number 6.
Yeah, and Havost on this Fredrin will be the primary tank for the side of GameLab. Secondary would be the Ruby. It's all up to them if the 1-1 would have space. And again, GameLab is already a match point against Geek Fam ID. So for all the Indonesians in the chat, make sure to support Geek Fam for a possible game number 7. They got to win this one if we want to see the series down to the wire. So far, GameLab is in the lead, and Geek Fam, they are playing something quite familiar. They're quite familiar with. Again, this is an Amon composition. Amon quite popular now in this series alone. I think Kakinaga has also played Amon once, but sadly they did not win that game. And so far, it's something that we have to keep an eye on, considering that Amon is a very specific hero in this series alone.
Yep, and it's worked and it hasn't, but more often than not, especially in the hands of Janacuti, it does end up working out here. Now, Takanaga too with this Leomord, either can happen, you know, especially having that killing spree. Sometimes it's a little elusive the way that this Leomord works. You're not really expecting the damage, and then you always have to be concerned about, you know, where's the horse coming from too. So something to really consider for both teams. But that CC, honestly, the CC from both, I would say, is pretty even. The only, I guess, you could look at it as an advantage that Dokman's Ruby can grab a ton of different people, whereas, you know, Beloyski is very one-targeted focused here with that Divine Judgment. So typical start for both of these teams, you know, a minute in, the little pokes back and forth here, even for that Lith Wanderer, going to get retreat away by Geek Fam. And for now, I don't really expect much until that first turtle anyway it's pretty standard, I guess, for the series between these two teams as they go back and forth.
You know, the funny part about this game is that you have so much CC in both squads, yet no Purifies. Like, all of them took Flickers, and Aizawa already burning his Flicker. I'm not quite sure how. Was that a mispress? He burned his Flicker, dude. Look, it's on cooldown. And now Takanaga almost taken down a boy. Almost.
Might have been a mispress, or he had pressure there, and we just didn't happen to see it. I mean, a boy even flickering here, surviving, that could have been bad if Takanaga grabs that early kill. I mean, that's another thing that happens between the two teams when it's not just a stalemate. One of the junglers usually ends up getting an early kill, right? So you can already see Takanaga getting in position, turtles spawning up here, Janacuti also making his way to that turtle pit, going to be supported by Beloyski. While meanwhile, the 2 versus 2 on the top side, the flicker comes in though. Takanaga getting caught out, and a huge play for Geek Fam. A boy going head to head with Aizawa. That's gonna be the Divine Judgment to try to cancel it out, but it's all falling apart here. 3 fall for Geek Fam. Make it 4. GameLab punishing Geek Fam Indonesia.
Geek Fam, they already found what they wanted. A great burst down on GameLab, immediately taking out Takanaga. Great flicker play coming in from Luke, but GameLab, they just came back with a vengeance. Aizawa with a perfect real-world manipulation. It was a battle between 2 artillery mages, but you know, the other one dealt more damage. The other one had a shield, and right now, another one would land to Aboye. He might just be dead here, and he will be surviving because of Wings by Wings. So far, GameLab with a nice comeback.
It was just kind of funny because I feel like we're going to constantly see that, you know. That's why we call it the Squid Game. The classic matchup of Farsa and Eve just kind of going head to head until eventually, you know, those ultimates will be utilized for those team skirmishes and Lord fights later on. But yeah, it's kind of a surprise that early on, you know, when you already had what you needed for Geek Fam, that everything kind of just fell apart from there, you know, and GameLab just putting the pressure on in the right places. Beloyski, though, going to grab the right target. Aizawa getting the feathered airstrike right on top of him as he falls. Dokman got a flicker out. Can he get taken down? Dokman going to survive, literally 1 hit away there. It looked like Kadera might have gotten that kill, but it was just a little bit of damage lacking. And right now, Geek Fam are working their way back into the game for now. Havas, though, still quite strong here. Might be biting off too much heat than he can chew. Appraiser's Wrath going to come down. The rest of the team now making their way to mid lane. Now Geek Fam going to be careful here how they approach this. Takanaga on the chase, though. Luke able to disengage for now. Still a lot of back and forth between the both teams. 30 seconds for the next turtle.
Great proactive play coming in from Baloyski. Not even burning his flicker, but burning a lot from the enemy team just by his ultimate. Here comes another, and Dogman won't be able to get Aboy, but the real-world manipulation will be burnt out before the turtle even starts.
I think that's big. I mean, both these artillery mages don't have flicker available for that turtle as it does come up. You can see similar as we did before. Okay. 1v1 on the bottom side. Yuktz going down to Gadara. Clean kill there. But GameLab going to be working on the turtle, man. Let's see if they're able to secure it. Oh, yeah. And they're still fighting for it. Dude, does the outplay come out? They grab the turtle. Baloyski going to fall too, and it's just too much here from GameLab. Luke finally falling. Feathered airstrike to help him out, but eventually goes taken out. Taunt comes through. Can they grab the kill on a boy? He doesn't have the flicker available. Gonna get CC to death. It's too much. One hit. Aoizawa grabbing the kill.
You got the taunt, you got the pullback, you got the slow. How could you even walk away? He tried to fly away, but it even expired. Why he tried to do so? Now GameLab, I just gotta go back though. Gadara, that was a spicy flicker tactical grenade just to get the passive reset and re-angle away from the Swallow's path. That was just a great outplay, but then again, they kind of lost the team fight that came after that. But still, an outplay's an outplay, but 1-1 does still have a lead in terms of pushing the turret, so it might just be great for GameLab so far as they hold this 3K gold lead. Let's see if Geek Fam ID could find another big play. Baloyski already trying to smell his next prey.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you just got to be really crucial here for Geek Fam. I mean, slowly but surely, the game slipping out of the hands here. And remember, it's match point for GameLab as they set up here on the bottom side again for probably a surprise play. If they can get it off, it's Baloyski that goes in. Doesn't know the rest of the team's going to be there. The return comes out, and it's Baloyski with a mistake as he gets taken down. The crash down, looking for Aoizawa or Dokman. Gets out with the flicker for now. The rest of the team now making their way here. Takanaga as well. Havas looking for the taunt, gets the knock-up, can't get it away. Luke able to dash out just in time. So it's nothing too serious here. Both teams, you can feel the tension between them both.
Yeah, fast execution coming in from Baloyski. You could see that he flickered perfectly into that ultimate, that Divine Judgment on Wanwan. The problem was there were other 4 people out there. Actually said Naisu, he didn't know that there was other people there. If it were, let's say, 1 person less, that could have been a kill for Geek Fam ID. But looks like Havas will be finding Baloyski for now, and 4 people are being zoned out by Dokman and Havas, and Turtle looks to be free for the side of GameLab.
Yep, Turtle just going to be taken care of by Takanaga. Havas just doing work, by the way, on this Fredrin. Having a monster of a game so far. 2-0-6, just causing havoc around the orange buff, forcing Janacuti to retry it away. Still going, though. Feathered Airstrike going to come down. That's the burst with the Endless Shards. Gets the knockup. The Razor's Wrath with the flicker coming in from Havas. Just punishing them back and forth. But look at the backside. They're going to try to get another kill. Baloyski able to find Takanaga. It's a double. So big trade here for both teams. It's going to be a 2-for-2. But GameLab now assaulting the mid lane. Yuktz and Aoizawa launching in. Here comes Kadera, though, with the ultimate. Gonna force them back for now. What a trade for both teams.
Yeah, it's a 2-for-2 in GameLab. They were about to lose that one, but Abrasion's Wrath landing dead center on 2 people. Like, landing dead center in Abrasion's Wrath makes it true damage, as far as I know. But the thing is, like, landing on a 1 person dead center is normal, but 2 people in that thin line? That's insane. And that was so great coming in from Havas that it evened out the trade. Without that, Geek Fam would have gotten a freebie, like a 2-0 or a 2-1. And that's such a great play coming in from GameLab. Now they still hold that 3K gold lead. I wonder when it will either increase or shift towards Geek Fam ID, because this 3K gold lead had been there for the longest time.
Man, Baloyski finding Yuktz, but not enough follow-up. Now Baloyski gonna go down, get punished by Takanaga, using that horse to run down everybody. Endless Shard's gonna come out. They find the burst. Janacuti with the kill. And now they focus on Luke. Luke to fall. 2-for-1 trade here. The question was, when will that gold lead grow or decrease? And it's happening now. It's for GameLab to increase as they focus on this mid lane, the tier 1. Lord gonna be up in a couple seconds. They're looking to make their move.
Luke having a hard game right now, 0-3-4, but I feel like Geek Fam ID, they're okay with that for as long as the Leslie isn't having a hard time. It's 1-0-2, the late game advantage is still okay for Geek Fam ID. If they just slow this game down a little bit, poke them before you actually go in, it might just be good as we enter the 15 or 16 minute mark, but that's a long time from now, and usually games in this series end by the first Lord, and this might just be it.
Putting the pressure here once again. Real world manipulation does come down. They find 2 for Geek Fam as they fall. This Lord's going to go in the hands of GameLab again, and time after time, Aizawa just showing the value on this Eve pick.
And this Eve pick for Aizawa has been great for GameLab, not just for this game, but last game also. Crucial real-world manipulations, nice angles, and the sad part about this one is you can't cancel that real-world manipulation anymore. So if he pops off and he finds you in the center of his own world, it's going to be hard for you to escape, especially if you've expended your flickers, and we do have a lot of flickers and dashes here. But then again, timing is always in the hands of Aizawa as they go for this team fight.
Dokman going in with the conceal play. They're going to try to cut off Jana Cutie. Can he get away from this? Gets caught in a bad place as he falls there in the bush. Lord marching down the bottom side. GameLab now going to switch their eyes down to the bottom lane as the Lord pushes in. Havast poking Beloyski here. They're going to have to defend so far. Luke, though, got to be careful here. Havas finding the connection. There's too much CC. One more shot as he falls as well. Aizawa is on fire here. Now they work on the base inhibitor turrets on the bottom side. Going to be able to get that down. GameLab calling a retreat for now. And just like that, GameLab in full control of this game.
Yeah, bad place, wrong time here for Jana Cutie and for Luke. Always getting caught out, and here comes another ultimate coming in from Dokman. Well, maybe they won't fight that. Still lacking minions and still lacking a lot of the firepower that they need. They're going to continue to push, though, nicely.
They got to be careful once again. Dokman, though, was trying to just press into that top side. You can see they want to end this. They want to take the series here. They have a very big lead 12 minutes in. It's going to be up to Beloyski really to find any pick here. The downside for Geek Fam is their front line isn't very much. It's not very durable at this point, right? Luke, Beloyski, it's a tough situation. You have too much CC to work around from GameLab. So what is the answer here? Time. They need time. That is a BOD being picked up here by Kadera. He will be a big presence if they can get to the late game, but that's a big if at this point.
4 minutes. I'd give him 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes before Kadera could go to that place where he could just two-shot almost anyone. Right now, he kind of needs 3 shots to get a kill, unless, of course, you're directly attacking Yuktz, in which case I think it's the hardest thing to do right now. Yuktz has been hiding in the back lines for a majority of the team fights that happens, and now that the kill score is 6-17, I feel like this Lord will be given out for free, unless, of course, they want to take that risk, but taking that risk without establishing the waves first would be doubling the possible penalties for failing. And Dokman, he fights one.
Dokman, big pickup here. It's Beloyski that's gonna fall again. The struggle is real for Beloyski as now GameLab focusing on this Lord. There's nothing that they can do. They're just gonna have to wait for GameLab to march down into the base again and wait for their moment. But this is looking really grim here for Geek Fam.
And Dokman, with the instincts, I'm sure he didn't know that Beloyski was there. And just because the low cooldown of that ultimate, that I'm offended, he just used it out of nowhere just to check the bush, and he found one. And that's how it works. I feel like that's a game-winning play out there, despite it being a preemptive one.
Yeah, this is, honestly, for Geek Fam, at this point, you gotta hope that you have a miracle defense. Beloyski flickers in. Doesn't even have the Divine Judgment. Looks like a big mistake as Beloyski falls. GameLab punishing Geek Fam here, and that could be the game-winning moment as they assault the base here. One hit away on the top side. That's the mid-turret down two. Lord now marching into the base. Havas goes in. Kadera has to flicker out UTZ with a killing spree. Crystal going to be worked on here, and that's going to be it. GameLab in a huge, huge game. An upset takes out Geek Fam, and they are the Top Clan's Winter Invitational champions.
Look at that final moment. That final moment where I feel like, I hate to say this, but I feel like Geek Fam crumbled mentally.